Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the stuff in your home or your office? Do you know someone whose environment's extremely full of stuff and they just don't seem to get on top of it all? Then you're in the right place. My name's Erin Elizabeth Wells. I'm a certified professional organizer, and I'm the founder of Living Peace Professional Organizing. And today in this video, we're talking about getting started with the 8 steps for organizing success. The 8 steps for organizing success is our system at Living Peace for organizing absolutely any area of your home, your office, your life. So thank you for watching. And today we're going to give you a quick peek into one of the biggest challenges faced by anyone with an organizing project: how to get started. What you'll learn in this video. First of all, why most organizing efforts fail from the start. The secret that the organizing stores don't tell you. Second, the first steps on getting started on any organizing project. Your junk drawer, your kitchen, your garage, your clothes closet, any place in your world. This will help you. How to decide if something stays or goes, and what you can do to set yourself up for success every time you're ready to get more organized. So, let's get started. Why most organizing efforts fail from the start. We get enticed by those amazing, glossy, pretty pictures we see in the magazines. And we think that if I just had those pretty bins, those baskets, those fantastic shelves, that it'll all be better. And therefore, we have a tendency to go out and deal with our clutter problems by going to the store and buying more stuff. Boxes, bins, containers. So here's the secret. Boxes don't make you organized. Systems make you organized. Without a system, that bin, that box, is just a place to hide stuff from yourself and from others. That's not organization, that's frustration. Because now you have to hunt the next time you go looking for those things. I can't tell you how many clients we've had who were working with them to help them get more organized, and half of their home is just full of what we refer to as jumble boxes. They might even be very pretty jumble boxes, but one way or another, they're just boxes full of stuff that's undefined and non-functional. And you got the stuff stored, but that doesn't make it retrievable. That's not functional, that's not organized. So if you've ever gone to the store to buy some of those pretty bins, only to discover that they're not big enough for what you wanted to put in them, or maybe they won't fit on the shelf where you'd had pictured to put them, these kinds of common errors are really easily fixed when you start with what you already have, rather than immediately going to the store to buy more things, no matter how pretty they are. That's why we teach our clients the process for organizing effectively, which we call the 8 steps to organizing success. And if you look carefully, buying containers is step 5 in our 8 steps to organizing success. So if you jump over those first 4 steps, you're not going to end up with the most successful outcome, which is why in this video we're going to just focus on how to get started and take a quick peek into steps 1 through 3. And a little bit of a deeper dive into 2 and 3 particularly. Now, the first step, without question, is vision. In the 8 steps for organizing success, the first step is vision, and at Living Peace, we believe it's really important to begin with a vision of the outcome you want to create. And that's why in our client work, during our exploration session, we start here. Most clients, however, just immediately want to jump into dealing with the stuff, the sorting and the weeding and everything else. But this piece is really important, and we're going to come back to this piece right at the end of our video. But the core idea is to answer this one question before you start. How will this space look, feel, and function when I'm done organizing? How will this space look, feel, and function when I'm done organizing? The answer to this question gives you a success test. You know you're not done until that answer is true about your space. It gives you something specific to be working towards. So acknowledging that vision is the first step, let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into steps 2 and 3, sort and weed. So step number 2, sort. While the first step is creating the vision, you start really getting down and dirty with your stuff by sorting. Sorting is that first action you want to take in any space. So what is sorting? Let's get specific. Sorting is quite simply grouping your stuff into categories, putting similar or like objects together. What it's not is making decisions about what you're going to keep and what you're not going to keep. Sorting is about recognizing and grouping similar items together. Now, why sort first? Really, there's 2 major reasons why this is really important to do first. Number 1, you gather all the similar items together in a way that allows you to make much stronger decisions when you get to the weeding step. For instance, let's say you're working in your closet and you are able to sort through everything in your closet and bring together the 10 pairs of black pants you own, which allows you to then discover that you really only like and wear about 3 of them. That allows you to make a much stronger decision about keeping those 3 and which ones to weed out, rather than trying to make those decisions as you come across them individually and potentially keeping unnecessary ones or giving away the best ones accidentally. So that's reason number 1 to start with your sorting. Reason number 2 is that by collecting all of those like objects together and then weeding them, you're going to be in a much better position once you get to steps 4 and 5 in terms of assigning the homes and buying the right containers, because you'll get a good sense of how big is the volume? How many of these things do I have? And that's going to help solve that problem about buying containers that are too small or too large for the intended purpose. So those are your 2 reasons why you want to make sure that you sort first. Now let's talk just a little bit about how to sort, because a lot of people struggle with this. We've had clients who really just can't quite grasp this level of thinking. For some people it's very easy. For some people it's more challenging. That's fine. So just think about it as you look at these pictures. What might be the categories that we could use to group these items? If you think about it for a moment, you look at them, some natural categories might appear. For instance, I see some toys. So toys might be a good category if we were going to sort these items. Another category that I'm seeing naturally arising here, clothes. Okay, we got ties, we got a shirt, we got some shoes, clothes, great. Office supplies, seems like a logical 3rd category. So you literally grab yourself some Post-it notes, grab yourself a Sharpie, write toys, office supplies, and clothes, and stick those in 3 different places in your room and just start grouping the items into those areas together. Remember, with sorting, it's really great to take what we refer to as the Goldilocks approach. Remember Goldilocks and the 3 bears, right? You want a category that's not too little and not too big. You're looking for something that's just right. So find categories that are big enough to encompass several things that you're sorting in that room, but not so big that you're including everything. Now, once you have all the items in your space sorted into categories, now's the time to start making decisions about what you want to keep versus what you're ready to discard or release, which brings us to step 3 of the 8 steps to organizing success. That's weeding. We really like using the term weeding because in our experience, clutter is a lot like weeds in a garden. The items that are clutter are like unnecessary or unwanted plants. In a different context, they might be useful, valuable, but they're just not serving an essential purpose right here anymore. So what is weeding? Weeding is about removing the items that are no longer serving you. This is where you get to make those decisions about what deserves its place in your home and what doesn't. Does it deserve a place in your vision of the future? It might have been part of your past. It might have served you so well in a different chapter of your life. But right now, it's just extra. and it might be able to serve someone else so much better. So why do we do with weeding next? Why does this come up next? This is your chance to really right size your categories, to make sure that you have an opportunity to make fresh decisions about what's necessary for your life and for your future. I find, and I've said this to clients for years, that part of the challenge with our modern lifestyle is that we have been taught really well how to consume, how to bring things into our lives, but we haven't really been taught how to recognize when something's served its purpose and it's time to let it go. I find that that's often why we have too many layers of stuff that just lingers around in our lives and it's distracting us or draining our energy. You know what I mean? Have you ever felt that way when you walked into a cluttered room? You walk in and you're just exhausted, you're drained. Just looking at it feels tiring. That's sometimes one of the reasons why clients choose to work with a professional organizer like us to help them really go through this stuff and have a partner, have a guide, and someone who isn't going to be as overwhelmed by it. It helps to make the project feel a lot more manageable. So how to weed? Whether or not you choose to work with a professional, the key to weeding is about asking good questions. So once you've finished your sorting process, you're then ready to begin weeding by choosing one of your new categories. So let's take the clothes that we were talking about before as an example. Now, occasionally it makes sense to subsort, so you want to get all those black pants together, but at the same time you want to take one of those categories and first recognize, are the items here, are they sentimental or are they functional? Because slightly different questions might be relevant to ask depending on whether these are functional items or sentimental items, things that are memorabilia, things that remind you of beautiful, wonderful times from your past. So if it's functional, here are some questions that might be good to ask. When did I last use this? Under what circumstances would I want to use it again? If I needed one of these in the future, could I find one easily? Am I willing to put in the time, energy, or money to care for this item, to repair it, to clean it, to make sure that it stays functional? So that's a few examples of the kinds of questions you might ask for a functional collection of things. Now, if what you're looking at are sentimental things, then different questions apply. You might want to be thinking about, do I love to look at this? Does it bring me joy to have it? Do I have specific memories of this item? Or is it simply something that belonged to someone I love at some point in time? We've had clients who lost loved ones and they have huge quantities of inherited belongings. And yes, that did belong to grandma at some point in time, but do you have a specific memory of that item from grandma? So, for instance, I have my grandmother's cedar chest. And yes, I have specific memories, and I only have 2 things in my entire home that belong to my grandmother. So that's another question. How many items do you have from that person? If you had to choose just a few, would you choose this one to remind you of them? A really great thing, if you took a picture of it, could you release the item and keep the memory? So those are the kinds of questions you might ask yourself for sentimental items. Now, once you're going through and you're getting clear what you don't need anymore versus what's still great, what's still wonderful, what's still serving you well, remember there are a lot of ways for things to exit your world. Yes, you can throw it in the trash or recycling, absolutely. You can also donate it to a general charity or a specific charity. General charity being something like Goodwill or the Vietnam Vets, those kinds of Big Brothers Big Sisters, a lot of those kinds of charities. Often they will even come and pick up stuff from your house, which we really love. So just for a phone call, it makes it easy to get things out the door. Otherwise, there are more specific charities like perhaps your local church or the local library or the local animal shelter that might be thrilled to have a bunch of your old linens. So donating, figuring out what's going to be the best place to receive this, obviously selling, giving it away to a family member or a friend. And then there are great resources like FreeCycle, where it's essentially free to a good home. Now, my one recommendation, when you get to the end of your weeding process, make sure you continue to keep your sorted categories discrete from each other, because it will help you be a lot more effective by the time you get down to this assigning homes. You'll be able to still see how big that category is. Remember, watch out for the classic mistake. If you make the decision that you're going to donate it, then it needs to make sure it gets all the way out of the house. There have been plenty of times where we've started work with clients and come across a big pile of stuff that at some point in time in the past was supposed to go to Goodwill, but unfortunately it just never made it out of the house. It happens. It's pretty normal. But it is an important factor to make sure that once you make that decision, you actually decide, get it all the way out. If you find when you get into this step, you start getting stuck, you either still are holding on to a lot of things, perhaps more than you can really realistically integrate into your home, you want to hold on to too much stuff, or you find that making these decisions is a real challenge for you, call a pro. Ask for help. It's very likely that they'll be able to coach you through to the finish. We frequently work with clients who are either chronically disorganized or have just very little experience in making these kinds of decisions. Sometimes clients with inherited belongings where the emotions are really high. And we do our best to really compassionately help them to make the best decisions that they're ready to make. The biggest key, set yourself up for success. One of the most common challenges for folks that want to get organized is that they plan to do it all in a day or all in a weekend. Now, if you're just working on a closet, you might be able to make that happen. That might be realistic. But for any larger space than that, this process may take you a little longer than you expect. So, schedule a chunk of organizing time. 3 hours is what we tend to use. That's how long our sessions are. But as little as 30 minutes can work. And of course, if you get stuck, ask for help. You don't need to struggle through alone. There are professionals out there who can support you. So the key is to take action now. You can start by just today, right now, spending some time reflecting on these 2 questions. Think about a space in your home or office and consider, what is your vision of organized? How would this space feel, look, and function if it were perfectly organized for you? And second, what would be possible if that vision was achieved? You can daydream about it, you can journal about it, capture some words. You might even think about starting a Pinterest board with images that evoke your vision of organized. Create that vision that calls you forward into the beautiful functional space that you want, that will fulfill you. So I want to thank you for watching this video, and I want to invite you to share a few words about your vision of organized in the comments below this video. Remember, it starts today. You have one life. Let us help you make it better. Take care.